Welcome back. This is Sports Zone. The show is proudly sponsored by Guinness and also by Syntex Tank and by Kivo Gary 4-in-1 Mix. My guests are here, Daniel Cranting and Sikyofe Philip Ashin. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Daniel, what kind of mood are you in? What's happening here?
Boom, 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 yeah, boom, boom, boom. Kimpaluta, it's Kimpaluta, Koi, mama.
Koi, mama.
Why are you in such a high spirit?
The guy, when the car was going, he was
You're
hiding,
happy somebody's father has... You're
the guy was hiding, but we saw his head in the car. He was hiding. He didn't want me to do it. The car, he was hiding. But we saw his head.
You're happy somebody's father has lost his job?
No, I'm happy there's freedom in the team.
What do you mean there's freedom in the
It's called
team?
perspective. It's how you look at it. There's freedom. Oh, some of the players, even when they come and they don't greet him, they are in trouble. They don't greet him. They say, oh, good morning, manager, they are in trouble.
The thing, somebody will do A, you get punished. Another person will do A, the person will be excused.
Inconsistency.
They'll always tell you that somebody's training hard.
Somebody's training hard.
On 90 minutes match day, we don't see anything.
But he's training hard.
Anthony!
I've not mentioned names, I beg you.
He's training hard. The guy was hiding. You didn't see the picture. He has put his head behind the driver's seat.
When he was leaving Carrington.
But his head, we saw the head.
A drive of shame.
We saw the head.
I hear you got someone into the meeting. You didn't know what the meeting was about. The meeting lasted altogether 7 minutes. Quick.
He's
That would be nice for him not to have known that.
Ashok.
Yeah. They told you they don't...
Adi. Eyamido. Adi. Tane. Oh. Adi. Kimpaluta.
I can't believe it.
Oh, good Lord.
What is going to change because Ten Hag has left?
For now, I don't care. He should go.
He's gone. Now what?
Let me enjoy the first few hours
Before we start thinking about
it. He should go.
The more serious note, even as a Chelsea fan, the thing go me. Wow.
He will go you.
Pay me.
Because like you've got it for now.
Just when it was our turn.
Lopetegu.
I thought Lopetegui was going to be sacked first.
Ashok. It was the
Wait, he's the first managerial casualty.
Yes, this season.
Oh, but I told you people. I had looked at the fixture list.
I saw your
first
tweet.
thing I did do.
I saw your
When the
tweet.
fixtures came out, I looked at okay, first week loss, draw. I did the calculation. I said, November.
By November.
Quick.
He's gone.
All right. Erik Ten Hag is gone. We will get to the Erik Ten Hag conversation pretty shortly, but let's begin with Ballon d'Or conversation, which is currently ongoing in Paris. They're handing out the awards, and even before they did, we already knew who would win the Ballon d'Or. And it sparked massive debate. But the ceremony went ahead anyway, and here are the arrivals of some of the players, including Rodri, who will imminently, in the next few minutes, be confirmed as the winner of the 2024 Ballon d'Or. Of course, he had an ACL injury, had surgery, so he still can't put pressure on his injured leg. So he's come to the ceremony on crutches, and you know that's who he is. Obviously, he's not played football for the past 3 weeks since he got injured, but he is set to be named the Ballon d'Or winner. They've already awarded the Young Player of the Season, the Copa Trophy. That went to Lamine Yamal. He was nominated alongside the likes of Kobe Mainoo, Savinho, Kubasi, and Adé Goulet. And it went to Lamine Yamal, and it was a very awkward conversation that ensued. I don't know whether the microphone wasn't working, but that's Ruud Gullit, who won the Ballon d'Or in 1987, playing for AC Milan. He announced Lamine Yamal as the winner. Lamine Yamal came on there, and the conversation was so awkward simply because whoever was translating the English to him either wasn't doing a good job or, as some people have pointed out later, the microphone or the earpiece was not working, so he couldn't really hear what the translator or interpreter was saying. And it just was a very awkward interaction that lasted about 5 to 7 minutes. And then he left the stage. But his teammates were laughing their heads off during that interaction. 17 years old, the youngest winner of this award. And it's incredibly deserved for him. I've never seen a 17-year-old this good in my whole life. Even the 17-year-old Messi didn't achieve these things. It's unbelievable what Lamine Yamal has achieved. Winning the Euros at that age, you know, it's incredible. And that's Lautaro Martinez, another player that many believe should have won or could have won this Ballon d'Or. Had a great season with Inter Milan, won the Scudetto, won Copa America, won the Copa, Serie A top player, best player. He had a season to remember. Then there's a Goalkeeper of the Year award, which also went to Emi Martinez after the great season he had at Aston Villa, which took them to the Champions League, and then topping that up with a win in the Copa America. So Emiliano Martinez also picking the Goalkeeper of the Year. And then we had the UEFA Team of the Season. Sicho, you have that? And it's almost like it's become a big problem because now Rodri doesn't make it into the UEFA Team of the Season. And people are saying, well, we told you. And this is the problem. So that's what it is. So these are the awards that have been handed out so far. Rodri's big shiny trophy hasn't been given to him yet. That ceremony is still ongoing. But we can have that conversation now and wait for confirmation, and then we'll bring it to you on our screens. But Daniel, Real Madrid have taken a drastic decision not to attend the Ballon d'Or because they found out, as is customary, before there was who is winning, because all the nominees are informed. It's not the first time a contender has not shown up for the Ballon d'Or simply because they knew ahead of time that they weren't going to win. Ronaldo has done it before. This is the first time they've done wholesale cancellation by the club, deciding that not the president, not all the other players nominated, not their coach, who is also nominated, will be there. And so many people are calling it a robbery. Some people have even gone to the extent of saying that he's been denied the award, Vinicius that is, because he's black. People are playing the racism card. All kinds of ridiculous conversations have gone on. Real Madrid they won the club of the season. And look at that. Nobody was there to pick up the award. That's just how drastic the decision not to go for the ceremony was. What do you make of everything? Look, let's begin with the whole conversation about Vinicius Jr. being robbed, because it's based on that no one at Real Madrid showed up. Because they even said that even if Vinicius wasn't going to win it, it should have gone to Carvajal. Per the interview from Monsieur Perez, he didn't even mention Bellingham in the conversation. Yeah. I don't know what you make of the whole thing.
First of all, I don't agree with I don't agree that Vinicius Jr. was robbed. Look, this is one of the closest Ballon d'Or races we've had in a very long time. If you remember a couple of months ago, we sat on game plan. Each of us had reasons why we thought one player should get it over the other. It was the pool of players who could win was quite large. And when it's that close, you need to understand that, look, it's human beings who are voting from a subjective point of view.
Yes.
So the same way all of us on the game plan panel felt certain player A deserves it ahead of certain player B, that's the same way those who are voting will also think and have their reasons and their facts as to why they think a player deserves it over the other. Now, when it's that close also, you need to look at certain timelines.
The last competition, or the last major competition that happened right before the voting was the international competitions, both the Copa and then the Euros. So you need to understand that post the Champions League, Vinicius Junior was ahead of the race.
Yes.
Not by far.
No.
It was close.
Yes.
So meaning that going into the international competition,
It had the potential to tilt it.
it could easily change. It could easily change depending on the performances of those who were front runners. Then Bellingham goes to the Euros, doesn't have the best individual performance, but England reaches the final. Rodri is the best player at the Euros, wins the best player at the Euros. Spain wins it. It puts him really close to winning the award. In fact, for me, it gave him a slight edge. At that point in time, I thought, and okay, that's my man Lautaro is not even in the conversation, so let's not bring it in. But Vinicius' performance at the Copa was very disappointing. And for his standards, it was poor. You are carrying a Brazilian team that is expected to go out and stop Argentina from making it back-to-back. Now look, this Copa was very significant. Argentina were going to equal the record that Spain had done in between 2008 and 2012.
Yes.
That is win the continental competition, win the World Cup, and come back and win the continental competition again. Now for that Brazil-Argentina rivalry, it was up to Brazil to stop them. And they were literally on opposite sides of the draw. So it was up to Brazil and up to Vinicius because he's a star man. He was the one carrying the team, the face of the team, to send them there. He has a poor game against Costa Rica in the opening game, if anybody watched it. The second game, I think, was against Paraguay. The Brazil team turned up. He scored 2 goals, Rafinha scored, the whole team played well. They won 4-1. Then the last game, which was very significant because it would affect who they were going to face in the round of 16. He had another poor game and got a very silly yellow card that ruled him out of a contention in the quarterfinal. So it was very disappointing from a Vinicius point of view. Then they go to the quarterfinal and they go and lose on penalties. And it ends. So he literally played 3 group stage games. He didn't play a knockout game. And that was it. Doesn't end up in the team of... He's not even considered for the team of the competition. Didn't have a good tournament. Had a good game, but a poor tournament overall. And then it leaves him, for me, a bit behind Rodri and Bellingham. I genuinely, like, if we were ranking it in terms of the 3 players who were in the front running, I think everybody has a compelling argument as to why they should win. But when you boycott it, given the disposition, like, you are supposed to win it, like it was so clear you were supposed to win it and it's been robbed from you. The arrogance for me is so palpable. I don't understand. And I'll ask Real Madrid, why didn't they boycott it? If Real Madrid are that principle, if they have those standards, why didn't they boycott it in 2018?
When Modric won ahead.
When Modric miraculously
Ronaldo
won it ahead of Cristiano Ronaldo. And I asked them a question. If Ronaldo was in Real Madrid, if he decided not to leave and he was in Real Madrid, would Modric have won the award? I don't think so. But they didn't boycott it. Okay? So it's very funny. It doesn't speak well. For me, it's quite unnecessary, the drama that they've brought to this whole location. To be frank, if it was that clear and obvious that Vinicius was supposed to win, then yes, you could have a case that, okay, fine, then you can use maybe he was robbed. But Rodri was the best player in the Euros.
So is it
Rodri was one of the best players in the Premier League.
Is it not possible, though, that Vinicius' standout performances, let's say in the knockout stages of the Champions League in particular, nullifies any performance Rodri or Bellingham or anyone else had at the international competition?
Look, you're talking about the weight of the competition.
Yes.
You can put the Euros and the Champions League side by side. In fact, in some quarters, the Euros may take an edge. So it is literally the best player in the Champions League against the best player in the Euros. Okay? Both players in their respective leagues were in the team of the seasons. They were not best player in the league, but they were part of the best players in the entire campaign. Okay? But again, earlier I spoke about the timing. And if Vinicius has put himself ahead at the end of the Champions League, for me, he just needed to reach a semi-final, and probably he would have maintained it. But for Rodri to go all the way and win the Euros and finish as the best player in the Euros, then it's very difficult for you not to give Rodri some extra points, which will probably give him the slight edge over. You see, when you look at the voting also, that the leaked documents that have been posted on social media. You look at how close the voting was. For me, I don't. It's not something that you should boycott it and go on as far as calling out the risk. It's ridiculous, honestly. The race card and things is ridiculous. Ronaldinho won it. He's not pink.
Sicho, as far as robberies go, I'm not. Look, my personal view is that I don't think this is anywhere near robbery.
I think it is.
When
I think
you look at the history of the Ballon d'Or, especially in the last.
It's shocking.
You want robbery? Go to 2010. You want robbery? Go to 2013. You want robbery? Even 2021. You want robbery? 2018.
Last year.
You want robbery? This is not robbery. Is when there is a clear leader, and then the winner is a big surprise.
What do you use to determine who a clear leader is? In Real Madrid's perspective, Vinicius Junior was a clear winner.
From your perspective, you think he was a clear leader?
I've said it. I don't think there is any footballer in the world of football right now that is a better footballer than Vinicius Junior.
That's not the conversation, though.
No, I'm building a point. Who from last year has played better than Vinicius Junior? In my opinion,
no player has performed better
than Vinicius Junior. In my
all
opinion,
competitions. In the period under review.
It doesn't have to be in all competitions. It just has to be across the time frame of the.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so
across the time frame in all competitions.
Yeah, I don't think there is any footballer who has played better than Vinicius.
Not the one who's won the Premier League, was a key player.
Hang on.
The one who's won the European Championship, was the player of the tournament.
And that is what I'm coming
Not
to.
the one.
That it itself is flawed. Nobody can convince me that Rodri was a better player at the Euros than Aymeric Laporte. Nobody can convince me that Rodri was a better player than Lamine Yamal at the Euros. Nobody can convince me in that Spanish midfield that Rodri had a better game than Fabio Ruiz. Fabio Ruiz, yes. Nobody can convince me. Nobody can convince me that Rodri had a better tournament than Nico Williams. So I don't even think that he was the best player at the Euros. Far from it. I don't think in that Spanish team at the Euros, he's a brilliant footballer. When he's on his game, he's unplayable. He's the best player in the position right now. But at the Euros, in that Spanish team in itself, nobody can convince me that he was the best player.
And that I sat down decided he was the best player.
And that is where the stats of why he's going to win the Ballon d'Or tonight came from. UEFA knew this. They knew in the Champions League. It's almost as if they are rewarding him for not awarding him for when he was really, really brilliant for City.
Which is last season, the season before.
The season before. It's almost like they're rewarding him. Look, there is no way. Rodri, obviously, in the Champions League, they were cleared about Real Madrid. He wasn't going to be the best player in the Champions League. They found a way of making him the best player at the Euros. And we all saw the Spanish team. If you are naming the most impactful players in that Spanish team, as good as Rodri is, you put all your biases aside. He wasn't the best player in the Spanish team. He wasn't. He
was a great player in that team.
No. Like I've said,
he wasn't poor. That's the difference.
Hang on. Like, no Spanish player was poor at the tournament. Even Morata wasn't poor.
Yes, and that's what counts against Vinicius, no? That he was poor for Brazil.
No, hang on. What I'm saying, Rodri wasn't brilliant for City in Champions League, was he?
No.
Yes, he wasn't. So are you going to use that against him as well?
Yeah, that's why it's not in the team of the tournament. It's used against him.
No, but the season is long. So you can use that competition against him for the entire competition. Okay. And that is why I don't agree that because Vinny had a poor Euros. And then when you mention 2018, then it's
poor Copa, you mean?
Poor Copa. When you mention 2018, then it's proper Ronaldo didn't win it because in 2018 they were knocked out in the last 16, was it?
Didn't have a poor competition.
No, but he was knocked out and Madrid went all the way to the final. So comparatively between the two of them, Madrid had a better season. But what I'm saying is that I have no problem with Real Madrid boycotting the Ballon d'Or, right? If they feel that they have been cheated, if they feel that they've been robbed, nobody can put a gun to their head and ask them to come for the competition. It's within their prerogative to decide. They don't want to be a part of a ceremony that is not rewarding who, in their opinion, is the best player. And I live by that character as well. If there's a gathering where I don't share in the ideas and ideologies of that gathering, I won't find myself there. And that is what Real Madrid are saying. It's as simple as that. The Ballon d'Or will go on without Real Madrid. Players will keep winning their awards. For as long as Real Madrid want to boycott, it's within their remit. But I don't think there's anything wrong with it when they themselves have seen. And in that Spanish team, again, it comes to the point Real Madrid were making. Why is Cavani not even in the top four then? Really, because if Rodri was winning the Euros, Cavani was a massive player there. He helped Real Madrid win the Champions League. He was brilliant in La Liga as well. He doesn't get a look in. And that is why I think that, again, Danny mentioned it perfectly, that it is...
I think Carvajal is fourth and Martinez is fifth.
Shouldn't be. I don't think it should be. I don't think it should be. But the point is that it's a very subjective conversation when it comes to the Ballon d'Or. And I agree, this year might have been some of the tightest we've seen. In my opinion, I still think it's Vini. People have gone to make their opinions. If I was voting, my vote goes to Vini. Danny's vote perhaps would have gone to Lautaro or even now maybe Rodri. So I get it. I can understand why everybody is frustrated by one decision or the other, or why some are celebrating, because as Danny mentioned from the top of the show, it is that close. But I get why Real Madrid want to stay away from it. There is nothing wrong with it when there's a gathering. And people say that Haaland was there last season, so Vinicius should be there. No, Haaland doesn't decide how this is done. He doesn't decide where Vinicius should be simply because he maybe was robbed and he got himself there. No. Yeah. If Real Madrid or a club feels that they don't want to be part of the ceremony, that doesn't honor true talent and true performances, I 100% completely side with them.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
What are you standing on, particularly, to say Vinicius Jr. over the last 12 months was a better player than Rodri, for example? What are you standing on?
Yeah, I think that when Vinicius Jr. was fit and he was playing, he was extremely consistent and he was deciding games. It wasn't only by the goals he scored, it was about the way that he carried his team, sets goals up.
The 3 Champions League knockout, in fact, 2 Champions League knockout games against Bayern in the final.
Which game did Rodri decide then? In which game was in your head was that game that was Rodri was the key man to decide for anybody?
That's the issue.
Yeah?
No.
So, no, the reason I bring that is because you're mentioning 3 games. It means you're counting games down on top of your head. He scored a goal. It's not about goals for me. It's about performances. And like Rodri, you tell me about goals.
When doesn't score, what else does he do?
It creates so much space. Is that a serious question?
So you give him Ballon d'Or for creating space?
What does Rodri do? What does Rodri do?
He tackles.
What are you saying?
Yes, he dictates. They call him the computer. He's the cog of a team.
I like that. He tackles. Vinicius dribbles. So Rodri should win because of tackles. That's what you're saying.
I'm not saying I didn't finish with.
So let's go on that tangent.
I didn't finish with tackles.
I'm saying
I was making a point. I was saying that he tackles.
Yes.
He breaks play. He dictates play.
Yes.
He literally, in fact, he creates more goals than Vinicius. He made more assists than Vinicius Jr. did in the period under review. And he plays deeper than Vinicius Jr. does. He's the deepest lying playmaker in Manchester City. How does he play so far away from goal and still makes more assists than Vinicius Jr.?
Because he plays in a team that gets Rodri playing on the edge of the opponent's box. He's not very far away from goal. The average position of Rodri is a myth. Hang on. Still, let me land.
Vinicius plays much higher than him.
No, let me land. Vinicius started, we know he's an attacker. Yes. But Rodri's average position for Man City is very high up the pitch. It's a myth that he plays very deep. He's not playing for Chelsea or under Mourinho. He's not playing for Man United under Mourinho, Erik Ten Hag. His average position for Man City is on the edge of the box. His average position for Spain is on the edge of the box. He's very, very high up the pitch.
Is he higher than Vinicius?
Maybe not, but he is closer to perhaps sometimes I go because he's central. Vinicius coming from wide is doing his job. But I don't want to go into that. I don't think that is how you decide Ballon d'Or. That is another skewed way of looking at it.
It's impact.
That is what I'm saying.
It counts.
When I look at Vinicius Jr.'s impact, the way he influenced Real Madrid when they play, the way he's been able to single-handedly change the way Real Madrid points of attack, the way he's been able to create chances, score goals in decisive moments for him, and he's done it consistently across the season when he was fit. I don't think there was any footballer throughout the whole of last season who showed a lot more consistency in games when he played than Vinicius Jr. I think it's got to be him. But again, it's voted, like I said, it's subjective. Everybody can choose, and I don't blame Real Madrid for not showing up. Like I said, Rodri winning the player of the Euros was the start of all of this. Okay. If they didn't give him that, he would have had no basis of even competing here.
Would have had no leg to stand on.
And I think UEFA knew what they were doing, and of course, it's UEFA Ballon d'Or. They knew exactly what they were doing. They gave him that award, neglecting many, many other players who were by far in that Spanish team better than him, and I named them.
Do you think that Vinicius' impact from last season for Real Madrid and Brazil was greater than Lautaro Martinez's impact for Inter Milan and Argentina? Because he won the Copa, he won Serie A Player of the Season, he scored 35 goals for them last season. He was top scorer in Serie A. Without him, Inter don't win the league. He goes to Argentina, the Copa America. Without him, Argentina don't win the Copa America. He's top scorer, he's player of the tournament. You speak about impact when he plays. In his absence, what he takes away. You look at all of that, at the level in which he did it, at the highest level of international football in South America, in one of the greatest leagues in the world. And they made a good run in the Champions League too. They didn't win it, but they made a decent run in the Champions League. Are you saying that when you take those two players in isolation and you look at their individual impacts, that Vinicius' impact for Real Madrid last season surpasses Lautaro's impact for Inter?
Okay, so Vinicius, no. So let's do Lautaro across, not just Inter, but across the competition.
Brazil, yes.
Absolutely. Look, that's why I don't want us to limit this to goals, assists, and what have you. So I'm going to take away the goals. Lautaro Martinez's impact for Inter Milan was massive.
Yes.
I mean, he was the best player in the Italian Serie A. He was brilliant. He led the team brilliantly. So he deserves a shout. Like I've said, it is very close. He deserves a shout. Without him, like you said, Argentina do not win the Copa.
Nope.
Having said all of that, I still think Vinicius Jr. had a more impactful season, right, in deciding moments. Lautaro Martinez scored a lot of goals for.
Though?
No, look. That's what I don't want.
Literally, the Copa,
that's
for
what
example.
I don't want. That's what I don't want to limit this to
decided
goals.
every single match.
That's what I want. Good. Now, when you begin to look at Lautaro deciding every match and scoring the goals, then Rodri doesn't have a mention. And that is why I don't want us to go there, because it will be so unfair to players like Rodri. Otherwise,
the point is that you eliminated Rodri.
Yes.
Then I brought in Lautaro. So I don't want us to circle back to.
No, you see.
But let's not use the if you like the goals he scored, the goals that good, and that is what the awards have become actually really, and that is what many people are looking at numbers. He scored this number of goals, gave this number of assists.
You know why I brought that into the equation? Because I noticed that when it comes to Vinicius Jr., when we speak about his impact, and especially those memorable nights in the Champions League, it's because of the goals he scored.
I didn't say that.
No, not you.
Yeah.
I said they're memorable because of that. It's not because he did it's because he decided moments in the biggest nights of European football.
Look.
And he decided them by scoring.
Did Vinicius Jr. score a goal in the second leg against Bayern Munich?
No, he didn't.
He did not.
No, he didn't.
But he decided that game. And that is how I watch football. That's why I say subjective. That is how I consume football. On that night at the Bernabeu, Vinicius Jr. didn't score a goal, but everything that happened for Real Madrid was him. And that kind of night, there were many, many moments around last season like that, where Vini wasn't the one who got the goals, but he was the one who drove the team to, in the end, winning games, right? And so people are only going to look at the first leg where he scored 2 goals, the Champions League final where he scored the goal, but that is not how I'm looking at it. And that's why I say that when you watch a player like Rodri, he's not giving you all the match-winning goals, but he has in himself, per the position he play, decided a lot of games for City because he has controlled games, he has dictated, he has actually, set things
that
for
volume
City.
is important. It's not just a handful.
No, yes, it is.
Volume.
Look, for me, this thing, that's why I say it's a very extremely subjective thing. Nobody can look at this and say, be objective or be truthful, because your truth isn't my.
It's got to be the way you consume the game.
It's the way you look at things, the way you perceive things. And personally, I also think it also has a bit of psychology to it.
Right.
Because if somebody plays 10 games, and in those 10 games, he gives 7 over 10 performances in 10 games. Somebody plays 10 games, those same 10 games, he gives you 10 over 10 performances. And then the rest are 5 over 10, 10 over 10. 5 over 10, and then the rest of the 5 are 5 over 10 performances. It is very possible that if he splits them in between, so 110, 1-5, 110, 1-5, the 10 is going to carry it throughout, because you live off the glory in that 5 over 10 performance from the previous game, and then give it another 10. That's how it works. But when you measure who has been more consistent, it's the 7 over 10 person. But you are more likely to perceive the guy who's done only 10 over 10 performance as the best player.
And dropped average
throughout as the one who has lived up more to expectation. For me, it's high time we reward players like Rodri, players like Lautaro, whose performances are so consistent, but sometimes within the team, he will have a player in certain moments who play better than him. Doesn't mean he didn't play well. But in the other game, he's the one carrying the team. At the end of the season, when you look at the volume of work done, it is very right that you reward a player like this. Because, look, Vinicius had a very good La Liga season.
No,
But
doubt,
when you look at the La Liga last season, it has Bellingham's name written all over it. But it doesn't mean Vinicius didn't do. Vinicius was what, second highest scorer in the La Liga.
He scored 50.
Real Madrid's second highest scorer.
Bellingham scored 90.
And that's how close he was, just four goals behind Real Madrid. But in terms of perception, behind Bellingham, in terms of perception, when you look at the
also
league,
3 more than Naki, but
yeah, Naki try. When you look at perception, it's Bellingham's name that is written all over it. Bellingham did a really good job for Real Madrid in the early stages of the Champions League.
Fact.
But nobody remember it because in the last 3 decisive games of the season, Vinicius carried it. So all of a sudden, those performances have covered what Bellingham did earlier on. And my point is, let's not focus on what happened at the end only. It's a time frame, a period that we are looking at. And when you look at that period and you look at the volume of work, if you agree that it's close, then if Fento has the voting hand and he says he will vote for Rodri, I can't sit here and say, you robbed me.
been robbed.
You can't do that. And again, I highly disagree with Sichu. This is Real Madrid, probably the biggest club in the world. If this is the disposition they are giving, this is not the sort of example you want. This is sport.
What example?
Look, sports, there's fair play in
They
sports.
disagree, they say they won't
show up, but
So everybody in the future, if you don't agree that your player should win, nobody should show up.
Yeah, they can decide not to show
What
up.
kind of attitude are you?
They can decide not to show up.
Is it this what you want, academy boys? So if a referee doesn't give this, then you walk off the pitch because you don't agree.
No.
Is it
There are
really
no
how
rules,
you want?
There are no rules to this. It leaves you to.
It's not about that's why you should show that's why you should show maturity and that's why you show how great you are by accepting that people have chosen somebody ahead of you. Then you sit and you work hard and you go for it.
You're also showing how mature. You're also showing how mature you are.
Look,
Hold on.
Bellingham, we know. You and I know. And Situ also knows.
I don't know.
Why are you laughing? You know.
I don't know this. Bellingham didn't want to be there.
Boga, Bellingham's suit back in August. They designed the thing. Then the night before, you are telling them that they shouldn't go. He needs these sort of moments. But because of order from above, he can't go.
Yes.
Who told you there are young players in Real Madrid who didn't wish they were there? Ada Gula, his first time being considered for an award
For
like
Copa.
this. For Copa. He can't go because Vinicius didn't win and the club say he shouldn't go. What is that?
No, but like I said, I still agree that any organization, any individual, when
and
you
they shouldn't go.
Yes. When you feel that there is something going on that you don't agree with the position of that thing, nothing should force you to
you are
do
at
that.
liberty.
And you are liberty.
You are liberty. But my point is, we'll be here next season. We'll be here next season. A Real Madrid player will be winning Ballon.
Yes.
Somebody will disagree, and Real Madrid will smile and go and take the
person who disagrees, if the person also decides that they've robbed him,
it's a shameful
attitude. It's childish.
It's childish.
It's very childish.
It's not childish. If you don't want to be there,
guys,
you're not there.
You know what?
It's very childish.
All I'm going to say is that as for this argument about robbery, I wouldn't buy it. I've tweeted about it that this is one of those years where if any other player had won, the other would feel that they deserve it. It's been very close.
Wait, let me ask you a quick question. If they gave it to Bellingham, Vinicius Junior for and cry that he's been robbed.
Like Madrid will not say anything.
No, but remember they said that even if Vinny's not winning, they think Carvajal should win.
Yeah.
So if Carvajal didn't win, Bellingham...
The Bellingham said they are not pushing for
They didn't add that to it because they are honest enough to know that Bellingham this year... You see...
But honest enough to know that
Bellingham this year wasn't going to win. Didn't deserve to win.
And you see, and that is my issue. Because, let's be honest. But let's be honest. Even at Real Madrid, this is what I think.
Real Madrid know that Carvajal wasn't a better player than Bellingham last season. They know.
I said, look.
They know. But they added his heroes.
Yes.
Heroes.
So it's a political addition. You know what they are doing?
No, because they know that it was the heroes that UEFA used to push.
So they are being dishonest.
They are not.
So they are being dishonest by adding
dishonest at the heroes. They know UEFA have been dishonest at the heroes.
So they are also being dishonest.
No, they are also being dishonest
by adding Carvajal.
Please behave.
If UEFA are being dishonest with adding, giving the award to Rodri, Real Madrid have recognized the dishonesty and are also being dishonest by adding Carvajal.
If you say Rodri deserves the player of the tournament at the Euros, and then Carvajal won that Euros also playing very well, then why can't he also, on the back of winning Champions League in La Liga, be the one winning the Ballon d'Or?
But you see,
if the Euros is huge enough to push Rodri there.
We need this. All I wanted to say was that regarding Bellingham and Vinicius, you see, the award is awarding performances over a certain period. You, Vinicius Junior, you can't get injured, play around and sleep and wake up and come. Real Madrid are already in a good place in the league. Courtesy the performances of Jude Bellingham. Champions League, they didn't somersault from the sky into the knockout stage. You can't just come there. In fact, the group stage games that Bellingham scored are no less important than the knockout matches. So you don't score there, you don't qualify for the knockout.
So in 2002, Ronaldo shouldn't have won because he didn't play football, he didn't play qualifiers, came to the World Cup and won the tournament for Brazil.
But I have a question for you. I have a question for you. I do have a question for you though. Before that, Ronaldo did that in 2002. Which players were doing well? Where?
What are you saying? I'm saying that
no, it's a fair question.
No, it's not a fair question.
That's a fair question.
No.
Who were the other contenders? What did they do?
No, it's not a fair question. You can't tell me that, you can't tell me that around that time of the year there weren't many. Oliver Kahn was there. Oliver Kahn had a brilliant competition. Oliver Kahn had a brilliant year coming into the competition. They were shout for him. Why? Because the goalkeeper, he forgotten about Oliver Kahn. Oliver Kahn was great.
They had won 2002. Bayern Munich had won the Champions in 2001. 2002, but you know where they got knocked out in the Champions?
No.
Leverkusen were the ones who made the Champions final.
Hang on. I'm saying that Oliver Kahn, in that same tournament, in that same time, he had been great.
But he had been very average in the league.
Yeah, he wasn't average.
Yes, he was.
He wasn't average.
Okay.
What are you saying? The fact that Ronaldo came, he didn't play football that whole year. The guy didn't have a knee, or miraculously got a knee. Came to play 7 matches, had a Ballon d'Or. That one, okay, you are smiling.
No, wait. You see, no, with this sort of argument is flawed.
It's not an argument.
You can't pick a contentious Ballon d'Or season that everybody agrees
justify another contentious.
Justify another contentious.
No, so do not use the example of Vini arrived when they were in the. That's what I want to diffuse.
Right,
I agree it was tight, but don't say that Vini was injured. He came in. And then Bellingham had done the job at the group stages. Then he came to play in the knockout stage. No, that is not how you do it. In fact, truth of the matter is, it's not about the number of games you've played. It's not about the number of times you were seen playing. It's about when you were playing, what were you doing?
Somebody
could have
asked the same question about Bellingham. When he was playing, what was he doing?
He was playing well.
He was deciding games for Real Madrid.
When Vini was playing,
he decided more games than Vini. Let's put it. Oh, come on! You forgot it.
He scored more goals than him. Doesn't mean it's you see. So yes.
Let me read messages.
Again, so you're saying that players who score goals are those who are deciding. Is that what you want to say?
No.
Because like I said,
then. Circling back to the point at the Euros that you used to diffuse Rodri, that nobody can convince. We don't need to convince you. Rodri may not have scored.
Laporte wasn't scoring.
But Rodri was the reason Fabian Ruiz had that
tournament. Yeah.
I don't think so.
But Rodri was partnering Mikel Merino in the Nations League round at Spain. Mikel Merino was playing as good as Fabian Ruiz. They switched Fabian Ruiz just before the competition. They switched Mikel Merino between and Fabian. He came in, played with Rodri, and had a good. The only constant was Rodri. The constant was
Fabian Ruiz on his own has been great. He played well. I mentioned American Laporte. Laporte was playing centre back.
Situation is okay.
Okay, let's move on.
Let me read message.
All was Rodri.
Agenda voice. Yes,
you've been wrong.
Good evening to you all, especially Mr. Cranton. On the Ballon d'Or saga, the criteria which was used to select Modric as a winner is the same criteria going to declare Rodri as the Ballon d'Or winner. About Eddie Botic, you know, and one Karma at work, he says. All right, interesting message. This one says, if the Ballon d'Or is given to Rodri, then we football fans must apologize to N'Golo Kante based on their criteria. Another point, N'Golo Kante 2021 maybe felt like he had a shout. He had the same impact in the knockout stages of the Champions.
It was better. He was man of the match in the quarter-final, first leg, second leg, semi-final, first leg, second leg, and final. 5 matches in a row, which is a UEFA record. He didn't win.
Thank you. Which was unfair.
He doesn't play for
which is unfair.
Rodri does not deserve it. This is a message from Random Rich.
But he had the poor season before that, but that's fine. It is true. That was Chelsea. That was a terrible
read
season
my
for Chelsea.
You
message.
just said that it doesn't matter the amount of matches you play.
I agreed. I'm saying no.
Sicho,
I said it doesn't. I said it doesn't matter the amount.
Sicho.
But he played lots of
Sicho.
games in that season and was poor.
Okay.
That was before Tuchel came. You
Sicho,
forgot
let me
Chelsea.
read my
Wasn't
messages.
playing plenty matches.
Rodri does not deserve it. Even Bellingham deserves it more than him.
Fact
Bellingham scored more goals and made more assists than Rodri. He met Rodri in the Champions League semi-finals and he eliminated Rodri. And we shouldn't forget the Euros that Rodri won. He played with Bellingham. He played the final with Bellingham. Bellingham had a decent Euros too. People forget, against Slovakia, if it wasn't for his bicycle kick, England would be going home. Even the Kopama goal, he assisted it. You see, anyway, let me go on. Mambura from Tamale says, I think Rodri deserves the Ballon d'Or 100%. I was based on votes that you can trace and people are complaining. If that was him manipulates people's votes, then we can talk about unfairness. Look at it this way. Haaland won the treble. Incredible numbers. He didn't win the award. No complaints. Julian Alvarez won the treble and
No
the Copa
complaints?
America. He didn't win the awards. No complaints. Everybody has their
complaints?
opinion. As for Haaland, people said he was robbed. So people really
There were
complained.
massive complaints. So yeah.
People complained.
No,
Bam.
the owners of the award, they are, it's okay.
My name is Ernest. Ernest from Kwandai says, Vini doesn't deserve the Ballon d'Or. Rodri all the way. Interesting. This message says, my name is Kawamuddin. I'm watching live from Yendi. I'm surprised about those competing the Ballon d'Or. Carvajal is not in pole position to win the Ballon d'Or. All right, interesting. You're surprised that Carvajal is not in pole position to win the award. All right, cool. Fair enough. Good evening, Mr. Fentio and your guys over there. I'm extremely disappointed that Vinicius Jr. is not the one to be crowned the winner of this year's Ballon d'Or. I bet you those in charge of the Ballon d'Or don't know what they are doing. If you consider national contribution, then they should have tipped Dani Carvajal and not Rodri. This is obviously a hatred, and that no one will take away from Vinicius Jr. that he's the best player in the world. In this world, there's bribery and corruption everywhere. This is from Jacobson, the safe boy, inside EAG. Jacobson, thanks for your message. This one says, I'm Calvin, and I'm supporting Vini. I don't know what he's saying. Okay, interesting. Thank you. This one says, you're making a mistake with the argument you're making for Rodri. Do you have a problem with Vini or what? Are you referring to me or Daniel? I don't know. Next time, address the message properly. This is a message from Black King. All right. This one says, good evening, Nana from Ablekuma. Sicho, you go explain, tire.
That's why I'm here. I'm here to explain. So I don't go tired. I'm prepared.
Zakaria, why Inter says Rodri deserves it. Real Madrid should blame themselves due to their poor performance against Barcelona.
Oh, how?
He's saying that that game decided the Ballon d'Or.
Thanks. Like I said, in 2002, Ronaldo won the Ballon d'Or. Roberto Carlos came second. Guess who came third? Oliver Kahn. Zizou finished fourth. All of them played ball.
Why did Real Madrid boycott that award? Why did they boycott it?
In 2002.
When Ronaldo didn't play, and he suddenly came to...
Oh no, 2002, he had not moved yet, had he?
He moved right before.
He was there.
He was a Real Madrid player when they won.
Player.
There was Real Madrid attached to his name.
Anyway, that's Rodri.
Why didn't they boycott it?
didn't
Guys, confirmation of Rodri's win.
Congratulations to him. I mean, he should have done this a year ago, but finally it's
The guy can't walk, but he's taking Ballon d'Or. He can't walk.
So Didier Drogba is the MC of the night. So Rodri, Ballon d'Or winner 2024. Incredible.
Ballon
He
d'Or
has an ACL injury, so he can't even walk well. He has crutches. And what an unbelievable player, Rodri. This award is long overdue for players like N'Golo Kante. This win is for players like N'Golo Kante, who were denied the Ballon d'Or. That's George Weah, ex-president or former president of Liberia. Ballon d'Or winner 1995, handed it over to Rodri. Lots of Ballon d'Or winners here
Should have been back-to-back.
tonight. Look at that. What a victory for him, Rodri. That's the last award of the night. Aima Bonmati was also given the Women's Ballon d'Or, by the way. She's won it down, what, 3 times in a row? Yeah, it's crazy. Casey said, and, you know, fireworks behind him, nice smile.
Baby Rodri.
Oh, yeah.
Baby girl Rodri. Yeah.
Ruth Gillis said that the award is shinier than the one they gave him. from 1987.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's that from Rodri. Congratulations to him.
Congratulations to him.
We will take a very short break here on the show. When we come back, I will read more of your messages, and then we will switch the conversation to Erik Ten Hag. Welcome back to Sports Zone here on Joy Prime. My name is Tahir Fentio. Just gone by, Rodri has been awarded the 2024 Ballon d'Or title, the best player in the world for the last 12 months, really. So congratulations to him, the Manchester City player, pipping, of course, 2 players from Real Madrid, Vinicius Jr. and Jude Bellingham. Madrid boycotting the award ceremony in the process. I've got lots of your messages here. The argument has got a lot of you talking. Somebody said, me Jimmy Pan on Twitter. No problem. I take on. Hey, because he disagrees. So say, live on Twitter. So it's a hate Real Madrid fan. It's okay. I understand. I've got more messages here. Joe Clark says, Toni Kroos did more than Rodri in that position. If that's how you want to look at it, then Carvajal or Bellingham deserves it more than Rodri. Joe Clark, thank you for your message. This one says, hi, Fento, I'm Mami from Kumasi. I'm having a debate with my friends concerning the biggest club in the world. Please kindly help me out. It's Chelsea. Tell your friend that
There's no, this is why you know. You help the person.
Good
Don't
evening.
do that.
They ask me. They
The
ask
biggest
you.
club.
They ask me.
I
The
said,
same
make
as-
sure you chose the wrong person to ask, but that's fine. Next time, choose the right people to ask questions.
Yeah, she asked me.
Yeah, ask me
Mommy,
this
tell your friend
blinded
that it's
Chelsea fan which club is the biggest in the
Tell
world.
them that Cole Palmer is the best player in the world. Tell them. This is a message from Boutros, watching from Eburi, Ketase. What Real Madrid has done towards the Ballon d'Or is simple as that. They've robbed Vinicius Jr. If not, why didn't they bring Carvajal to the top 4? Because he won Euros, Champions League as well, and he was better. Interesting.
Factos. I agree with you, my brother.
Kinsley from Jam and South says, if Rodri wins the Ballon d'Or, I have to stop watching football.
Charlie, the two of us
That's
are,
it. He has retired.
But, so I've retired from watching football, so Sports Zone in some way.
Is it even good?
Majesty from who says, this is cheating Vinicius Jr. Rodriguez, who is to be named Ballon d'Or, is not part of the Champions League team of the season. So is UEFA saying that they are using only European championships to reward him? Interesting. All right, cool. My name is Kese from Kuma Agogo. I can't believe this is what's going on. Vinny was the one to win the Ballon d'Or, and this morning Rodri's name was mentioned. Why? Oh, It says that somebody has been cheated and they've swapped the results. Interesting. I side with Sicho. Rodri was not the best player in the Euros. It was scam. Fabian Ruiz had a better tournament than him.
Thank you very much, my brother.
Stopper with that message. All right. This one says, I think the man in the black shirt is a Madrid fan.
Oh, no, everybody who knows me knows I'm not Madrid.
My name is David. I want to know if the boy is not with Vinny, what else does he do when he doesn't have the ball? That's his question to you.
He's walking.
Eugene Opoku Kakari from Cape
So
Coast
then
says,
how did Messi and Ronaldo win the Ballon d'Or? Because off the ball, I don't know what they do as well.
Messi walks. Do you know how walking is?
He
It's
gives
majestic.
And Vinny does what?
And he gives 50
Vinny's
plus
walk
goals.
is not majestic.
50 plus goals. 50 plus goals and assists.
So it's the goals.
Yes, the goals.
All right.
He decides twice or 3 times the matches that Vinny does. So he can sleep on the pitch safe. We don't care.
Okay.
problem.
There's a difference
Kakari
between
says-
those two and the rest.
All
Don't
right.
mention his name when I miss Vinicius Junior.
Then again, it's okay.
Vinicius
You have
Junior.
things to
They
go
are
through,
mentioning
please.
Ronaldo and Messi.
We have things to go through.
Mention his mates.
Eugene Opoku Kakari says, he's texting us from Cape Coast. He says, Rodri deserves the Ballon d'Or.
Simple.
This message says, Massa, they should boycott the event.
Simple.
Okay,
And
interesting.
don't come, like don't give it.
I will
So right now, if I read the
don't go.
message and it favors you, then you add ad-lib.
because the people they are right. When they say
let me read
Vinicius
more. Let me see
They are very right.
who gets more ad-libs.
They said they will boycott. Haven't we seen Rodri?
they should do it.
Didn't they clap for?
What is UEFA with Real Madrid? Charlie, let's go.
This one says, my name is Sidolf. I'm watching you live from Wa Upper West Region. If
Vinicius.
Rodri deserves it, then they should look for something else to give Lewandowski and Jorginho.
But they gave Lewandowski something.
The one they're giving to Harry Kane.
They
They get Muller, they are one
They
award.
found something.
This one says, is Rodri better than N'Golo Kante? Ask your pandit. This is from Kwame Hayford.
Some way.
Hello, guys. Good evening. This is Theo from Airport Residential Area. What's a baby, papa?
That'd be hood.
Tell Sicho to consider the year 2018 Madrid won the award. Was he better than Ronaldo?
No.
In 2010, Schneider won treble in Italy, was second with FIFA World Cup with Holland, but Messi won the Ballon d'Or.
Another
It's
scam.
fair for Rodri to win, even though Vini is a favorite for the award. Interesting. This one says, I'm Augustine from Kumasi. Vini will die today.
No,
I
he's
don't
a
know
big
how.
boy.
I think he doesn't mean it literally. He means it metaphorically.
Yeah.
They robbed, this message is from Ancestor. It says, they robbed him because he's black. The only black player who won was George Weah. And that was even named as the Weah Miracle. In
And also,
1995.
but Ronaldo wasn't white. Ronaldinho wasn't white. So
sure.
I'm not
Rivaldo
sure.
wasn't white.
They don't
Rivaldo wasn't
understand
white.
the nuances of race.
Seedorf wasn't white.
Vinicius Junior is
The
here.
seed of win. It's
Seedorf.
Gullit who won. in
Gullit
1967.
wasn't white. Ronaldo wasn't white. Ronaldinho wasn't white. And
Vini was cheated. Corruption galore. Vini the best in the world now.
You should go and take it from Madrid.
John, with that message. Let me take a couple more, and then we get into our El Clasico and Ten Hag conversation. Someone from Breakup says, UCL is UEFA's biggest club football tournament. Euros is UEFA's biggest national tournament. So forget that notion that UCL is the biggest. It's the same size as the Euros. Interesting message from Samuel. This message says, the award is more useless than Ghana Galamsey. Nicholas from Dodowa. Watch the watching. This one says they are claiming Vini deserved the Ballon d'Or, but are bringing in names like Bellingham and Carvajal. I just think Madrid and Vini fans are disappointed the award didn't go to a Madrid player, and not because Rodri won it. If Rodri was a Madrid player, they wouldn't complain.
Simple.
Key, Kwame from Adenta.
Case study, 2018.
This one says, Erik Ten Hag was sacked by Man United in the early hours of today. We wish him the very best of luck in the next destination. Manchester United is bigger than him. Hey.
you go and win trophies. So
Good evening, friend. To Abek, Sicho be Madrid fan and Danny K, where the party day today? We have to celebrate this Ten Hag sack. I'll bring grass cutter meat to the venue. Elom from Elom Chris from Hacho.
My good time.
This one says this is another offside. Bishop fan says this is another offside against Real Madrid. And this message from Tamale. This is Say from Tamale. I'm watching from the Say mansion. Is this the Say Mubarak guy who know or who? The guy that announced the winner is an African, so you know what's up. I don't understand what you mean by we know what's up. Anyway, please, I'm asking Sicho and Daniel about the biggest club in the world. Chelsea is out of the league. She has come back, mommy.
Mommy,
Because she doesn't like my answer.
the biggest club in the world, from where I sit, is Manchester United. We can talk about the greatest club in the world. That's
Mommy,
another one. There's a difference.
Have you seen the answer you have? The biggest club in the world is Manchester United, according to Sicho.
Yeah.
Or Bois.
Yeah, I think they are. But we can have a conversation about the
What's the
greatest club.
biggest club
The
in the
biggest club.
Yes.
Yes.
From the greatest
How are
club.
they big?
Fan base.
Kind of questions.
Fan base.
You don't have more fans than Real Madrid.
No.
Eh?
Yes.
What
How
I
do you measure?
Who told you?
I am asking. How
But how
do
do you measure? How
Man
do you
United
measure?
has the most fans in the
What?
world.
How do you measure?
Man United-
only- no, hold on.
It's a simple Google.
They're going to use
It's a simple
Instagram. They're going to use Instagram and followers.
Yes.
What are you saying?
So your fans don't have internet.
In my village.
Your fa-
Anyway, I don't come from a village. I come from a hometown. Peje is a town.
Your fans
The
don't.
village beside my hometown.
They don't have internet.
They don't have internet. Well, how are they going to follow Real Madrid? What are you
They
checking?
don't even know Instagram.
They don't even know
And
IG.
they-
No, I think Man United is the biggest club in the world.
Master, they didn't count for the award. Remove his face from
I
the
think-
Ancelotti posted this. I want to thank my family, my president, my club, my players, and above, and all Vini and Carvajal. You don't go award, but they collect the award. They do vote of thanks on Twitter. Oh, Don
Above
Carlos.
or Vini and Carvajal. That's a real
You know
message.
the base.
Yeah.
But you know at Bellinho.
You know at Bellinho.
I'm
Bellinho,
really
they sideline him. Bellinho, they sideline him.
You say you are the biggest club in the world. On Instagram, you are 64. You have 74 million followers. Sicho, wait. The biggest club in the world. You have 74 million followers on Instagram. Real Madrid, I have 169 million. Your fans are not on the internet. But your fans don't have Instagram.
Since when did IG become the measure for the
It's not. But do you know that you don't know that social media is a measure of popularity? It's actually a proper measure of popularity.
Not necessarily.
Yes, it is.
No, not necessarily.
It's popularity.
Not necessarily. You can't use social media to do
You
that.
tell me that United are the biggest club in the world. Since when?
Why are you so hurt?
Since
How
when?
they went on the streets of
Barcelona,
New York.
Real Madrid are all there.
Nobody know Beyonce for them.
Yeah.
They don't know Beyonce, but she
They just
carry
told Beyonce,
Instagram-
say clap.
Instagram
Say clap.
followers. The
Okay,
point is, Instagram,
you know what?
social media is not real life.
The message is cry. Let me pause here.
This generation of social media people, this generation, what is that? You think everything is Instagram and Twitter and so. What is
Even
the other one?
speed is bigger than Man United. I show
Charlie,
speed.
let's move on. Let's move on.
Erik Ten Hag is gone.
Hooray.
We don't want to talk about why he should go because you have spoken about why he should go a long time ago. What next? Who should they hire next?
I'm not going to suggest managers to Manchester United.
How is this a good thing for United?
No, it's good. It's a fresh start. It's a good squad that has been assembled. It can get better. And I said at the start of the season that the good thing about sacking him as quickly as possible was whoever walks through the door, who has the philosophy that the technical team or the technical director at the club is in line with, can pick these players and use them and steer this team to success. Erik Ten Hag was just not doing a good job. It was just simply poor coaching, poor man management. It was every year one scandal with a high-profile player. It was getting tiring and exhausting. And it's good he's gone. But I'm hearing reports of Ruben Amorim, the Sporting Lisbon head coach.
Yes.
A very good modern manager, attacking inclined. In fact, Chelsea, he was one of the ones on Chelsea's short list. Head Manchester City were looking at him. Even Liverpool were looking at him.
Yeah, Liverpool. I
when
thought
Klopp-
he was actually going to go
West
there.
Ham spoke to
When
him,
Klopp-
many clubs.
West Ham don't have money. But look, I think he's a solid manager. Managers of that mood, and to be frank, where modern football has reached, it is very difficult for you to find somebody with the know-how and experience. So you can see most teams are now going towards giving chances to not too experienced managers, but who have, so you look at Company, you look at Maresca, you look at what Arsenal did with Arteta, you look at what Juve is doing with Thiago Motta. It looks like that's where the football is going. Alonso getting the job.
Very young manager.
Very young manager. So Amorim with Sporting Lisbon, I think he's had a really good, last 3 seasons at Sporting Lisbon has been really good. Won some silverware there. Obviously, Sporting is not of Man United standard. But when you have that pedigree, quote unquote, under your belt, and he's taking them to Champions League, he's taking them to Europe. I think they're in Europa League this time around. Coming to Manchester United, I think it's a clean slate opportunity for him to bring his ideas. And again, the squad makeup is for managers like that. So it's just about United making it very clear. I don't think Man United should give the next manager a long-term contract. I think we are past it. United have been living in the past for a while. A manager staying for a long time doesn't always mean success. In fact, they are, in modern day football, teams that tend to switch managers more often get more trophies than the ones who have managers for quite a long time. So Real Madrid have been doing it, Chelsea have been doing it. The template was set by Roman Abramovich. If it's not working, don't be afraid to get rid of them. You don't need to suffer for 10 years
Unless you
and
are
not
Pep.
win anything. Yeah, Pep is 7 years, but he's been winning. So
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Kloppus, but
Arteta.
after 5 years, one trophy, some way. But the point is,
Big song will.
yeah,
You know that if this Ancelotti guy just walks in here and wins the league, Arsenal should consider sacking Arteta.
yeah, we cannot say ifs and things. So if Arteta wins too, you can consider sacking Maresca too. What is he going to win? But the point is that
He's
look,
not spent 5 years.
He won't spend 5 years.
No, he has not spent 5 years.
And we don't care. 1 year is Chelsea. 1 year, one trophy. That's how it's supposed to work. But the point is, look, for Man United, it's a clean slate. The squad is good. It's a very good assembled squad. Ruud van Nistelrooy will do the job on this weekend. Just, I think his job is not to do anything wild. It's just to manage the team whilst they look for a substantive manager. And to be frank, with the way the rumors have been flying in from quite credible sources, it looks like United are quickly looking for a replacement. And I don't think Van Nistelrooy will stay there for much longer. But it's good news. It's good news for Man United. And look, when they sack you and you know you've done a good job, you leave with your head held up high. But when they sack you and you know that you've been gaslighting, you've been arrogant, and you've been throwing lies into the faces of fans, that's when you are leaving, you'll be hiding. You'll be hiding, you'll duck.
In the car.
But we'll see your head. Because that head, we've been seeing it for 3 years. We'll see your head behind the seat and we'll notice you.
You know, when he got the sack, my mentions were blowing up on X. And I was like, come on, man. The fact that I'm Ballon doesn't mean that he's my father or anything. Because people were mentioning me by heart. But I worry for Man United.
Why they were mistaking you for him?
No, like everybody was mentioning me.
You'll be white.
It's like trying to guy with my old boy. I've been trying to go about, but some way. Yeah, but look, I worry for Man United a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I disagree with Danny that the squad is tailor. It's made in such a way that Amorim can slot in. Okay. Especially for Man United's midfield. Yes. You've got a captain who has to play, but he's not good enough at keeping the ball like Amorim would want his team to be organized and he's a modern day coach. His team is very good at holding ball. In fact, he mixes it a lot. He can go on the counter, but predominantly they keep the ball quite well. Casemiro is past it, I think. Eriksen, even though he's the most assured player on the ball in Man United, I don't think he's got the heart for it. Yeah. At the moment, he's got the if you like, the energy for it, in the way his team presses and what have you. He now has to recoach that front line from Marcus Rashford to Højlund to Anthony to Ahmad on the pressing, because it's very haphazard at the moment. And he's got a lot of work to do with what Man United have got. And that was the problem. When you sign players for managers like Erik Ten Hag, and they fail, the manager fails, you are likely to bring in a lot more players for the manager who is coming in, who will demand certain specialities in certain areas for him to be able to play the way he wants. But we'll see how he's able to work with this squad.
Because the Hag signings might not necessarily be good for the new manager.
Yeah, and I don't think they will be. And the Hag signings, most of them have failed woefully under the manager. So, but we'll see what Ruben Amorim does, if indeed he gets the job.
Interesting. Thank you, Sicho. All right, time now to bring you Guinness Match Day here on the show. All right, welcome back. On Guinness Match Day today, we are looking at FC Barcelona's stunning victory against Real Madrid in the El Clasico. And the nature of the victory requires two people on the tactical board. So both of my guests have gone to the screen and they have 10 minutes to show us exactly how Barcelona did it. Sicho, Daniel, take it away.
Okay, so.
Right. Thank you for inviting me to your board. Look, so we're going to look at the game in the way Real Madrid shaped up and how Barcelona were able to counter it. First of all, we're going to start with Real Madrid because in that first half, it looked like they were doing things that were working. But a lot of the things that they were doing that were working was also because Barcelona were not able to execute their movements when they had them. But currently started in this shape. So when you look at the screen, you see Real Madrid line up in the 4-4-2. First, when I saw the 4-4-2, Daniel, I thought it was going to be the 4-4-2 diamond, yeah. Where we are going to have Tchouaméni sitting here. We're going to have Jude Bellingham playing a more advanced way, and Fede Valverde coming this way, and you have Camavinga here. And I thought this midfield would have been perfect in the way they could have boxed that Barcelona midfield of Pedri, Casado, and at times Fermin Lopez. That would be four. They could have cased them. But Real Madrid didn't do that. They actually went on to play Tchouaméni and Valverde in the middle of the park and played Jude Bellingham as a winger as well as Camavinga. But the biggest problem for Real Madrid, I thought, was that Kylian Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. were not dropping deep enough to help. But this is what also went against them. So when you look at what Real Madrid were doing in attack, Danny, they were only looking to get in behind Barcelona's high line. We've seen Barcelona's high line under the new manager, Hansi Flick, go very high. So they've got this space. Naki Pena normally would be lurking somewhere around here to try and sweep this space. But that is the problem with what Real Madrid were doing, especially Kylian Mbappe, because Vinicius Jr. by this time of the game was somewhere, when the game started, was somewhere around here, and they were looking to get in Mbappe, through these lines and through these channels. Mbappe is so quick. But because Real Madrid's front line, Vini and Mbappe, were not working hard in tracking back, almost every time that they were starting their runs on the shoulder of the defender. Yeah. So they were moving just a shade very early. If they were tracking back a lot more, if they were helping the midfield a bit more, and they were doing this job, then they could have started their runs deeper. And because they are quicker, they would be getting in behind them and not be making offside. Again, the reason why I thought that Carlos should have started with this shape in playing Bellingham here is this, that when you've got Kylian Mbappe and when you've got Vinicius Jr. here and you've got Bellingham, these two centre-backs are likely to be keeping an eye on this. Even if their line is high, the problem then becomes when Jude Bellingham starts making the run from deep and then he's besting down the middle. I think that you could have been getting on the end of these balls and that would have been more devastating, but it wasn't to be.
Yeah. Now, for me, what I want to focus on is the in-game management from Hansi Flick and how he switched up. Because initially, at the start of the game, in the first half, it genuinely looked like Real Madrid's plan was working. They were not pressing as well. Barcelona were still able to progress, but it was very difficult for Barca to get in behind. And Real Madrid had those opportunities to exploit the high line, albeit the offside traps was catching them. There was poor finishing also. Vinicius had a good opportunity there. Mbappe also in the first half. But what I liked was the in-game management. And it was what he did in this area. So because of the 4-4-2 setup that Real Madrid had done, Fermin Lopez wasn't necessarily being picked up. But it was very difficult for them to get the ball into him because the Real Madrid two sitting midfielders were blocking the passing lanes to him.
Right there. Yeah.
So what does Flick do? He brings Rafinha inside to have now a double 10. And when he brings him inside, Balde gets a bit more wide. And what happens is that now it's either Ancelotti has to make a decision. It's either Bellingham follows him and leaves a huge gap here, or he goes narrow. And he chose to go narrow and a bit more compact. So in going compact this way, which you also have to talk about the not so good pressing from Vinicius and Mbappe. Now this time around, because Barca were having a bit more ease taking the ball out of their own area, it put more pressure. Now there's a box created between Fermin, Rafinha, Casado, and then Pedri. So now, Real Madrid, with these lateral midfielders or wide midfielders who have now been sucked in, it's a bit more difficult to close down these spaces. So they had 2 10s free, and what it meant was that this compact also had to be consolidated by this. So now we saw Militao and Rudiger being forced to try and close in the space on Fermin and then Rafinha. Which allowed Lewandowski to have the freedom to roam in between. And we would see it, quick example, we would see it in his goal. So the goal Lewandowski scored. So you look at the positioning of Lewandowski here. Nicely positioned. He's put himself in between Vasquez and then Militao. And because the two Real Madrid centre-backs are focusing on the 2 10s, that's the added bodies in between the lines, they don't spot the run of Lewandowski. Now, Charlie Hansi Flick will be coach. But the Barcelona players too, then they play ball. But I want you to look at the movement of Rafinha and Fermin Lopez, but especially Rafinha, when Casado is making the attempt to pass the ball.
And while Casado is making that, to keep an eye on the two attackers for Real Madrid.
Exactly.
Very passive. Nobody's stopping him. That's the space he's going into.
So, let me just slow this a bit. So, you look at, so I play it here, right here. So Mbappe is going to be beaten. And as Sicho said, keep an eye on what is happening with Casado and then Mbappe, who's supposed to be watching Casado. Once Casado goes past him, Mbappe gives up. He stops. So now it's an open passing lane. And then Rafinha makes that run just to pull Eder Militao. He knows he's not going for the ball. He knows he's not going for the ball. He just makes that run, pulls him off, And now it leaves that space open for Casado to drill that pass in between the line into space for Lewandowski to finish.
That was smart.
And the rest was history.
That was a brilliant finish, by the way.
And again, I want to also highlight, you see, I mentioned earlier, Rafinha coming in, which sucked the Real Madrid press in and gave space on the left-hand side. This is actually something we spoke about on Friday.
On Friday, yeah.
When you spoke about the Real Madrid, the compact diamond.
Yeah.
And I said that if that happened,
Balde
I was
has a free
afraid
run.
Balde will have a free run. Now look at the second goal that Barcelona scored. So, Real Madrid have been sucked in, obviously, a very compact midfield block. And then guess who is free on the left-hand side?
Balde.
Balde is free. So this is Bellingham. This is Bellingham. This is... who is this?
This is Vasquez.
Vasquez.
So when Rafinha made the run... In fact, Rafinha started making the run very, very early.
Yeah.
And he took Vasquez. Look
in.
at where he's taking Vasquez into.
So now Vasquez is here. The pass, this was nice interplay between Frankie de Jong and then Pedri. And it's a simple long ball into Balde, who is now free on the left-hand side. He has time and space to pick up a cross. And once he does it, it's a supreme finishing from...
Is this where I get a little disappointed with Rudiger here? Because he sees that the only danger going into the box has got to be Robert Lewandowski.
Yeah.
But if you look at this run and look at his body language, it's like you're giving a shout to Militao. Because I suspect Militao knows Rudiger is in behind him. He checks over his shoulder, you see Lewandowski. But it is Rudiger who is seeing the action develop. But watch Rudiger as Lewandowski makes his run into the box. Watch this. Because Tchouaméni is making a run onto the edge of the box. So you're thinking your DM is protecting you there. So Rudiger shouldn't have been making the run straight into the box. He should have been angling his run to get close to Robert Lewandowski. He doesn't. Lewandowski get in between the centre halves. But a brilliant ball from Balde onto the plate for Robert Lewandowski. And he finished it well. So a couple of defensive errors from Real Madrid and brilliant coaching and positional play by FC Barcelona and Hansi Flick.
And just to finally look at a couple of opportunities that Real Madrid got, especially in the first half. It was so you just get the picture. It wasn't that one-sided. It was that when it clicked for Barcelona. When it clicked for Barcelona, it really clicked. So you look at the high line again. This time, Real Madrid got the run perfect. Nice ball played in between the lines for Vinicius to attack. And this is the zone that they want him in. Gets past him, he should be hitting the target.
Disappointing that he's got this whole space to the left of the goalkeeper gaping. He chose to go to the near side, and he missed it. Disappointing.
And then you look at the Mbappe chance also. I think this was in the second half again.
Yeah.
Second half, it was Vinicius who picked up the ball. Again, Barca with a high line. This time, they timed the run very well.
Now look at what Mbappe does. Mbappe hesitates just a fraction. You see the defender ahead of him before he starts darting.
Yeah.
Because he knows that is where he can stay onside. Yeah. And that was in the second half. I'm sure Carlo might have told him, don't be eager to get in behind. You've got the pace. You're quick enough to get there. So look at Mbappe. Hesitates and then waits and then takes off. Because you can see the defender ahead of him. He's going to get the better of the defender with pace. Unfortunately, Peña was at the right place at the right time. Mbappe's finishing let him down that day.
Yeah, so look, again, in conclusion, personally, I just feel like the two plans looked like they had potential. Yeah. I just felt like throughout the game, throughout the first half, I just had that feeling that if it clicked for Barcelona, it was going to be Madrid were going to be in trouble, and that's exactly what happened in that second half.
Fair enough. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you. That's it for Guinness Match Day. A very good breakdown of Barcelona's victory against Real Madrid. A remarkable win. And for me, I was fascinated by how effective, well, it wasn't as effective as Real Madrid definitely got a couple of chances because of that high line, but they also caught them offside so many times. And for me, I think it's a very difficult tactic to execute, but Barcelona did a great job. All right, we'll wrap up with Karim, who has... Karim, come on. Who has Ghanaian players abroad? Karim, you don't have a lot of time today, unfortunately. I'm sorry. But what do you want to talk about today? As far as... because Partey played at right back, had a good game. And then I'm sure a lot of people were wondering exactly why or how he's excelling so much at right back and committing so much to it. But yeah, what have you got?
You know I'm so charitable. I'll do just 2 minutes and give you and dash
No,
you the rest.
no wahala, no wahala. Nico, I want to wrap up with Joy Sports Invitational
Yes,
stuff.
yes. So the players I'll talk about is there are a lot of players that are already known. Joseph Annan now plays for St. Patrick's, that is in Ireland. Then Juku, Ali Desaidu, then Joseph Opoku, Jerome Opoku, Godfried Frimpong. He is quite unknown. He plays for Moreirense, that is in the Portuguese league, and they won 2-0 against Boavista, and he was the player who has won the most tackles, created 3 chances for them. Partey, as we said, he played as right back for Arsenal against Liverpool, and he excelled in that role. For all the players on the pitch, he was the player that has won the most duels, that is 18, and also won the most tackles, that is 4. And of all Arsenal players, he was the player that has touched the ball most as a right back. Then Enim Kujo made his debut for Bnei Sahin, that is in Israel, and they lost 2-1 to Hapoel Ironi, but he excelled in that game, created 4 good chances for his team, and also completed 100% of the dribbles he attempted. Then Prince Edu, this is the player I want to talk about. Prince Edu Kwabena, you can remember him from Bechim United.
Yes, yes.
Now, he suffered a bad injury during his time there that he missed out on the 2021 AFCON that Fatawe and Co won. And during that time, just after that, he went on a 6-month loan to Randers, that is in Denmark. And during that 6-month loan, he went there with the injury, and the club treated the loan. I spoke to him around 2022, and he said that the club and Bechim United couldn't agree on a fee. The club wanted to treat the injury for him, but they didn't do that. He came back to Ghana, played a few friendlies with them, and went back to Islok, that is in Belarus, played a few games with them. Then from that place he went to Chivas, that is in Ukraine. From there, he now went to Victoria Pleasant, and he's had a good start to life. That is this summer that he joined them. This weekend, they played against Sparta Praha. That is, they play in the Champions League. They recently played against Man City. And in that game, he scored the only goal for Victoria Pleasant, who are also playing in the Europa League. And this season, in 7 league games, he has scored 4 goals. And,
wow.
And that is around 110 minutes per game in those 7 games he has played. So he, also in the Europa League, he has played 3 matches, scored 1 goal, and also assisted once. Another young chap here, Bonsu, Christopher Baba Bonsu, he provided an assist for Genk and they won against Ghent. So that is it, basically the summary of everything I want to touch on.
I'm very happy for Prince Edu Kwabena.
Yeah.
I mean, you covered him a lot in Ghana Premier League.
Loved him.
Massive talent.
Brilliant football.
Very unfortunate not to go to that 2021 under-20.
The whole Randers
thing. I mean, even that time, he claimed that he wasn't injured. It was like a whole controversy. But
that's a big story about that.